The Magic Flute, an opera by Mozart, adapted by Kyra Teis. Once upon a time, on a day that seemed like any other, Prince Tamino was out hunting in the forest. It was such a lovely day that he didn't hear a strange sound behind him. A sound that grew louder and louder. Suddenly, snap, sizzle, roar! A huge dragon crashed through the trees, its flaming mouth wide open. Help! Help! Tamino shouted as he ran through the forest as fast as he could, the roaring monster just a few steps behind him. I can't run any further, he exclaimed, collapsing to the ground, unconscious. Just then, 3 gleaming silver arrows streaked through the air and struck the dragon. With a thundering crash, the dragon fell, dead. From out of the shadows stepped 3 lovely young ladies, bows still in hand. They approached Tamino. "Who can he be?" they asked each other. "Surely he is a prince. We must tell the Queen of the Night." And away they went. Prince Tamino awoke to find the dragon dead at his feet. "Who killed this terrible monster and saved my life?" Tamino gasped in surprise. "I did," boasted a lively-looking fellow covered in feathers. "Who are you?" asked Tamino. "I am Papageno, the bird catcher," the man replied. "If it weren't for me, you'd be dead." "How did you do it?" Tamino asked. "When you're as brave as I am, it's easy," answered Papageno. Kaboom! With a sudden clap of thunder, the Queen of the Night appeared before them. "Nonsense!" she snapped, her hard eyes flashing angrily. "My ladies slew that dragon!" Then the Queen softened her voice and smiled sadly at Tamino. "Please forgive my anger. Take pity on a poor, heartbroken mother. The evil sorcerer Sarastro has stolen my daughter. I do not have the power to rescue her." The Queen showed Tamino a portrait of Pamina. The instant Tamino saw Pamina's warm and gentle smile, he fell in love. "I will find her," he vowed. "If you bring her back to me, you may have her hand in marriage," said the Queen. Kaboom! And with another clap of thunder, the Queen of the Night disappeared. As Tamino prepared to leave on his quest, the 3 ladies approached. "Poor Tamino," cooed the first lady. "The forest is so dangerous." "We must help him," said the second. "Tamino," called the third, "here's a gift to protect you on your journey. A magic flute. When you play it, you will charm both man and beast." "And you, Papageno," scolded one of the ladies, "as punishment for claiming that you killed the dragon, you must go with Tamino through a dark forest to Sarastro's Temple of Light." So the 2 men set off into the dark, dreary forest. "Where are we?" shivered Papageno. "We've been walking for hours." "I think we're lost," admitted Tamino. "But we must be brave. Maybe some music will lift our spirits." With that, he took out his magic flute and began to play a tune. The ladies had been right, for as the beautiful music drifted through the forest, animals of all kinds crept softly out of their hiding places. "Follow us," they said. "We'll lead you to Sarastro's Temple of Light." "There it is!" Tamino marveled when he saw the magnificent temple. Impressive," Papageno stammered with fright. You go on ahead, Tamino. I'll just look around." Tamino pounded on the door. "Sarastro! Evil villain! Answer me! You stole Pamina from the Queen of the Night, and I have come to rescue her." A priest opened the door and said, "You are mistaken, young man. Sarastro is honest and noble. He is protecting Pamina. Her true destiny is to inherit Sarastro's kingdom of light. The Queen is evil. She wants to destroy everything that is good, even her own daughter." "Sarastro is protecting the princess? The Queen wants to harm Pamina? How can this be? Tamino wondered aloud. Then he remembered the queen's cruel, cold eyes. He realized that the priest was telling the truth. He shook his head sadly. I think I've made a terrible mistake, Tamino said to Papageno. But his friend was nowhere to be found. Tamino began to play his flute. Lucky Papageno, he had found Pamina. What a funny man you are, she said, laughing with delight. Who are you? I am Papageno. Prince Tamino and I have come to rescue you. It was a most dangerous journey, but nothing frightens me. Then they heard the sound of Tamino's music. Follow me, he said. The moment Pamina saw the prince, she fell in love. But before either of them could say a word, a gong sounded from somewhere deep within the temple, and the wise and powerful Sarastro greeted them. Right away he saw how much the prince and princess loved each other. Pamina, I will give you my blessing to marry Tamino, he said, his eyes twinkling. But only if he can pass 3 tests, one of silence, one of patience, and one of courage. When Papageno heard that, he jumped up. What about me? I want a wife too! Very well, said Sarastro with a laugh. If you pass the tests, then you will find love as well, a little Papagena. First was the test of silence. You mean no talking? Psh, that's easy, declared Papageno. But as he spoke, a mysterious mist arose. Tamino and Papageno, the queen of the night's 3 ladies, emerged, as graceful and lovely as twilight. Come, Tamino and Papageno, sing us a song, they teased. A song? Certainly. And without thinking, Papageno began to sing like a bird. Tamino shook his head to warn his friend, and played his flute to keep from speaking. The gentle music soothed him, and the ladies vanished. Tamino had passed the first test, but, alas, poor Papageno had not. Next, a table of delicious food was set before them. Oh, good! Papageno exclaimed. Something to eat while we wait for the next test! He had barely finished speaking before he started eating, smacking his lips and guzzling his drink greedily. Tamino was hungry too. The food looked delicious. But, he thought, this must be the test of patience. So again, he played the flute and soon forgot his hunger. Tamino passed the second test, but Papageno failed again. There was one more test to pass, the test of courage, a trial by fire and water. Suddenly, a huge wall of flames roared up before Tamino. I must be brave, Tamino trembled. Tamino, wait! Pamina called and came to his side. I will endure this test with you. Play your flute, and the sweet music will protect us. Tamino felt courage return. He held Pamino's hand and lifted the flute to his lips. He played a song, and together they stepped through the flames, unharmed. They found themselves standing before an enormous waterfall. Tamino was not afraid. He began to play his flute. The water slowed, then stopped. Tamino and Pamina walked through, hand in hand. The tests were over. Tamino had passed all 3. Sarastro came forward and put his arms around their shoulders. Tamino and Pamina, I give you my blessing to marry. Together you will inherit my throne of light and bring much wisdom and happiness to the world. The evil queen of the night will have no power in this joyful land. Wailed the queen, who had been secretly watching. Her cry echoed throughout the land as she fled with her ladies into eternal darkness. But what about Papageno? Congratulations, Tamino, he sighed sadly. You and Pamina will be very happy together. As for me, I'd pluck my plumage for a sweetheart of my own. But Sarastro, with mischief in his eyes, patted the bird-catcher's back. There now, Papageno, he said. You failed the tests, it's true, but I think the world is better off with a cheerful bird-catcher than with a sad one. So, I have one more test for you. An old woman hobbled over. Her face was lined with wrinkles, and her hair was gray and stringy. Her rags were as old and tattered as cobwebs. "Will you marry me, Papageno?" she croaked. She smiled at him, showing her missing teeth. Oh dear, she is hardly the kind of wife I imagined," Papageno muttered to himself. "But, maybe she's not so bad. Maybe she can catch birds. Maybe she can cook. And she's surely better than no wife at all." Papageno made up his mind. "Yes," he said, "I will marry you." Poof! With a flash of light and a fluttering of feathers, the old woman disappeared. In her place, there stood a lovely young maiden, dressed all in feathers. "This is Papageno," Sarastro announced with a smile, "the bird catcher's bride." Papageno's eyes were as round as coins. "Papagena?" he stuttered. "Oh, I am the luckiest bird catcher in the world!" And so, not one, but two couples received Sarastro's blessing that morning. As the sun rose over the hills, the four friends walked off to a new life of peace and happiness, with the music of the magic flute to lead their way.